Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite cash game plays for this Week 14 NFL DraftKings main slate. Like I always do, I'll go position by position, talking about why each of those plays stick out to me. With that being said, let's dive into my spreadsheet here. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do in the top left-hand corner with those highest implied game totals. It's projecting to be another low-scoring week. We got a few games here that might have some shootout potential, but for the most part, it's kind of a gross slate, far from my favorite to say the least. And then take a look down here at the highest implied team totals. Again, you can always use that as a reference point as I'm going through some of my favorite cash game plays. Now, I always try to be upfront and transparent with you guys, as I just mentioned. This is far from my favorite slate this week, especially on the cash game side of things. I actually think it's quite interesting on the tournament or GPP side of things, and I'll have my video out for that tomorrow. But I'm going to be pretty limited myself on the cash contests this week. I'm still going to create a lineup, but yeah, I just really don't have all that much interest in playing cash games this week. However, I'm a man of my word, I'm a man of the people, and I still wanted to create a video, but just note we're probably going to go through this one here today pretty quickly. With that being said, I like three quarterbacks this week on the cash game side of things. Jalen Hurts, who we've talked about pretty much all year long, actually. If he's been on the main slate, I'm pretty sure I've highlighted him on every single video. He's got that massive rushing upside, improved as a passer this year. He's got a safe floor and a tremendous ceiling, and no reason to think he can't get there this week against the New York Giants, who ranked 28th overall in defensive DVOA. Now, if I want to save some money at the quarterback position this week, it's Jared Goff for me. I really like him on the tournament side of things as well, and I'll talk about that in my video tomorrow, but he's certainly cash game viable too at this price at $5,600 in a good home matchup against the Minnesota Vikings, who have not been very good against the pass this year, especially as of late. Since Week 10, the Vikings ranked 26th overall in success rate per dropback, 32nd in passing yards allowed per game, and 32nd in explosive pass rate allowed too. Plus, Jared Goff has been very good at home this year. In 7 home games, he's thrown for 17 touchdowns compared to just 3 interceptions, and he's averaging 22.3 DraftKings points per game. At $5,600 for 3x value, we need what, 16, 17 DraftKings points? I think he's certainly capable of doing that, especially in this matchup. And then as an honorable mention, I got Joey B there, $7,000. I'd rather just pay up for Jalen Hurts at $8,100, but if for whatever reason I don't have the money to do that and I still want to spend up at the quarterback position, it is Burrow for me. He's now been a top 2 quarterback here in 4 of his last 7 games, and I do like the matchup this week against the Cleveland Browns. Now, moving over here to the running backs, and this position is a little sketchy this week, hence the reason I'm not thrilled about the cash game contest. Derrick Henry, if you look at his game log, it hasn't been all that great here over the past month, but I do like this as a bounce back spot this week at home against the Jacksonville Jags. Since Week 10, the Jags ranked 19th overall in rushing success rate, 23rd overall in rushing yards per game, and 26th in explosive run rate allowed. Henry has explosiveness, we know this, and for whatever reason, he's kind of had the Jags number here, especially over the past couple of years. In his last 2 games ago, he had 215 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns, and then his last game he had 130 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, I'm not suggesting he's going to go for multiple touchdowns in this game or locked into that, but I certainly think he's capable of doing so. I then got Ezekiel Elliott there of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, that's the type of slate that it is. $6,100 isn't a bad price though, especially considering the matchup here against the Houston Texans, who do rank 28th overall in rush DVOA. Plus, Zeke has kind of been a touchdown monster here as of late, scoring 7 touchdowns in his last 5 games. Definitely think he can find the end zone this week and get you around 15 to 18 DraftKings points. It's really what I'm looking for at this price. Now, I know Tony Pollard's going to be pretty popular as well. You can see I got him listed as an honorable mention. I certainly don't mind that play either. And then I got a few running backs here that I think are viable in the 5K range. I put Foreman on the main spreadsheet here, but I do think that DeAndre Swift and Latavius Murray are certainly viable too. Foreman has over 100 rushing yards in 4 of his last 6 games. I'm not entirely sure why he is this cheap, probably because the Carolina Panthers are a bad football team, but I kind of like the matchup here as well against Seattle, ranked 24th overall in rush DVOA. Now, folks, before we dive into some of the wide receivers here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. We only got 2 months left here of the football season, but I'm going to have content coming out for you guys to close out the year. Now, one of my favorite cash game plays and someone you can pretty much staple in my lineup this week is Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's now seen double-digit targets in 6 games this year and has been held to under 8 targets in just 1 game. When healthy, of course, he had a couple of those games where he's battling an injury, but this guy is a target monster, and he should have his way with this Vikings secondary, who I mentioned earlier is not very good. And man, we gotta talk about Garrett Wilson, right? His price is going up. He's now $5,900, but ever since Mike White has taken over at the quarterback position, Wilson's seen about a 28% target share, 15% end zone target share, and 46% air yard share. It looks like a tough matchup here on paper against the Buffalo Bills, but he didn't play all that bad against them just a handful of weeks ago too. And then I got Adam Thielen there of the Minnesota Vikings. Largely like this play due to the price at $4,900. I really like this game as well between the Vikings and Lions too. One of the few games that has some shootout potential. But Thielen, for me, I think he sees around 6-7 targets in this game. He's seen around a 19.5% target share this year and heavily used in the red zone too. He might not have the most touchdowns on this season, but he does have 15 red zone targets. That's the 7th most amongst wide receivers across the NFL. And then I got a few honorable mentions here as well. Chris Godwin, a little tougher matchup on the road against the 49ers, but he's seen double-digit targets in 7 of 10 games this year. And then I got Christian Kirk and Zay Jones there of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both those guys have been solid. I prefer Kirk, obviously, at $6,600, but if I need the price savings, I think Zay Jones is still viable. I talked about him last week. The target share has been decent for him. He just didn't have all that great of a game last week, had a couple of drop balls, but he's certainly capable of meeting 3x value at that price of $4,700. Now, moving over here to the tight ends, I got a handful on the spreadsheet. If you want to spend up a little bit, I like TJ Hawkinson this week, especially on the tournament side of things. Again, I'll talk about that tomorrow, but you got the revenge narrative here going up against his former team. Plus, he's seen a 21% target share in this Vikings offense and a 23% red zone share, and Detroit has not been very good against the tight end position this year, ranking 29th overall in DVOA. I also like Dalton Schultz this week of the Dallas Cowboys in a good matchup against the Houston Texans, who ranked 26th overall in DVOA against the tight end position. Plus, Schultz is just a completely different tight end when Prescott is at quarterback. Since week 7, he's seen a 19% target share and 50% end zone target share. Now, I'm probably going to butcher this name here, but Chig Okonkwo of the Tennessee Titans has now seen 5 targets in back-to-back games, so if you're looking to punt at the tight end position, he kind of looks like the guy to go to. And then I got 3 honorable mentions there as well. If you want to spend down, I think Freiermuth is okay at $4,500, Njoku at $3,900, and then Dolchis there at $3.4K. And we're going to keep it simple with the defenses this week. Per usual, when it comes to my cash game video, I like the Bucks this week going on the road against the 49ers, playing rookie quarterback Brock Purdy, who will have his first legit NFL start this week, and then the Panthers there at $2,200. If you're looking to spend down or essentially punt at this position, they're the defense for me. They play the Seattle Seahawks, and Seahawks have been much better than any of us would have thought this year, but this defense has not been bad for the Panthers. They actually have a turnover now in 8 of 12 games and have combined for 11 total sacks in their last 3 games. Now, to stay on brand with this video, we're going to wrap it up with a low-priced option or sub 4K wide receiver play, but I'm unlikely going to spend below 4K for the wide receiver position. I'll do that with the tight ends and defenses. But Chris Moore is offering some value here at this price, albeit a tough matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, whose defense is very good. We don't got Nico Collins or Brandon Cooks for the Houston Texans this week, so Chris Moore should legit be wide receiver number 1, or at the very least, wide receiver number 2. See an expanded role and more targets should go his way, and actually since week 9, he's seen 24 targets, or averaging around 5 per game. I don't mind that at this price. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great weekend here, folks. Let's win some money on this Week 14 main slate. In the meantime, I'm out of here.